Alrighty, here's the story. I work next to a quarry, which means I'm following fully loaded triple axle dump trucks all the time. And the other day, one of them got me. Rock flew off. See if you can see that. Gave me a little chip. It's not a bad chip, but I don't want it to spread. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use this Rain-X windshield repair kit. I've used other kits in the past for chips. I've never used one like this. This one's a little different. So I wanted to give it a try. I figured I'd take you guys along for the ride. We'll figure out if this stuff actually works. The first thing we have to do before I even open this, we're going to clean this real well and make sure there's no water in it. All right. Now it did rain last night, but it's been sitting here in the sun, so I don't think there's going to be any water. You're going to want to take something to make sure there's no loose glass inside. I'm just going to use my nail real quick, and then we're going to take some alcohol and put it on a cloth and then clean this whole area. You don't want to dump the alcohol right on the windshield because it may fill up this crack. We're just going to get a little bit right on a washcloth, paper towel, and we're going to clean that whole area real good. Alrighty, let's break into this thing. Looks like the directions are inside, so I'm not going to be too worried about the back here. Let's see what we got. Alright, the first step is to clean the window, which we did. Remove any glass that might be in there. We did that, and we're going to center this piece on the window. Instead of using an adhesive pad like most other methods, this uses these little suction guys. Let's go do that. Alrighty, it says to center this hole over the crack. So that's what we're going to do. I've got JoJo inside the Jeep to tell me when it's all lined up. That looks pretty good. And then just gonna suction these guys down. That's why you want to clean the whole area, because if this was dirty out here, these guys wouldn't suction. Let's go figure out what step 2 is. Alright, here's what the rest of the process is gonna look like. Excuse the wind noise if you can. This screws into the middle here, and it seats against the windshield. This end here is rubber, and that's what helps it seat. Alright, here's what it looks like from inside the Jeep as we're tightening it down. I know this camera's not focusing real well because it's so close. Can you see that though? That rubber tip kind of seats over and then spreads out over the crack there. That's what's going to create the seal that's going to allow us to force resin into this chip. I'd say that's good based on the directions. Alright, it says to put 3 to 6 drops of this resin inside of here. My crack's not that big, so I'm going to go with 3 or 4. Alright, we have the resin down inside of here now. The next step is to take this plunger and it screws in, and that's going to force the resin into that crack. Alright, from inside, here's what we're looking at. It says screw it down till it's just about all the way down. That's done. And then it says to let it sit for 4 to 6 minutes. So you can, I don't know if you can see in the video, I hope you can. This blue ring in there is the resin. And it's got pressure on it from behind by means of this thing I screwed in. And over the next 4 to 6 minutes, that pressure is going to push it into this the cracks in the bullseye. I can't see the crack as well as I could before anymore. So let's let this thing sit for a good 5 minutes. And then we'll come back and see what it's looking like. Alright, it's been 5 minutes and I can already see the crack less. You can still see where it's spiderwebbed out a bit, but it definitely filled the main bullseye area. Now what it says to do is remove, let's see if I can get this thing to focus. You remove that plunger, whoops, without turning that. You remove the plunger to displace any air, and then you put the plunger back in. So I guess that's letting air escape. There we go, and then put it back in and screw it down again. Man, I gotta get a camera that focuses better. There it is. So we're gonna do this again, and we're gonna let it sit for another 5 minutes, and this is just gonna push it even further out into the crack. It's worth noting at this point, for anybody who has never done this, it's not going to completely fix this. It's not going to make the crack invisible. What it does is it fills it with resin to the best of its ability, you know, best a $7 product can. You will be able to see less of it, and it hopefully holds it together. The key here is as soon as this happens, as soon as you get the chip in your window, do this. Don't wait for it to start spreading. The sooner you get to it, the better these things work. And there are a number of different products that use a number of different methods. Most of them use like a big plastic syringe to kind of inject it in there. This way is pretty weird, but I think it's kind of cool, and I just realized this kit is reusable. It's not a one-time use. They gave you enough resin to do several repairs, so if it works out, this is the thing I'll use next time as well. Alright, here's the next step. You're going to, it says, pull this back about a half a turn, and then use these tabs, here, to remove this applicator completely. At this point, some resin may run down the windshield. If so, you just wipe it up with a cloth. Now they gave us what they call curling pads. Can you see that? What you're gonna do is put another drop right on the windshield and then put this over it. What that's gonna do, and it says you don't have to do any pressure or anything, it will pull itself onto the windshield. It's probably static or something. What this is going to do is leave this side flat and fill in any valleys or crevices. Now it says to get the windshield into direct sunlight to let this cure. I guess the UV light is what hardens it up. And they said only like 5 or 10 minutes. I'm going to leave it for like an hour, but let me move this Jeep someplace where there's direct sunlight on this windshield. Alright friends, here the Jeep sat for about a half hour, I think, in the direct sunlight. Now we're going to peel off this curling pad. That comes off real easily. It says you can use a razor blade to clean this off. I'll do that later because I don't have one right now. But alrighty guys, move back out of the sun so that you can see where the crack, what the crack looks like now. Right here is where you're looking. You can barely even tell that there was a crack there. You have to know where it was and be looking for it. That tells me that resin has permeated into the spiderweb cracking, and you know, it's going to hold this thing together. That's the whole idea here. So yeah, I was a little bit suspicious when I pulled this weird lunar lander looking thing out of the package there, but so far so good. Obviously we'll do a check back in, and if this crack decides to break, you know, spread, I will do an update video. But Rain-X, so far so good. Got any questions, by all means leave me the comment down there in the squawk boxes. I'll try to get back to you. I knew this is by far the most unconventional method I've ever used. I've used the ones with the syringes and the gravity ones, but I kind of like it. And this pack that was $7 is reusable. I've got resin at least for one more, probably several. They gave me about 12 of those curling pads. So I hope you found the video amusing, educational, maybe even a little entertaining. If you did, by all means, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, comment down there in the squawk boxes. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.